quiz covers everything. So I want to know if there are challenges that we need to address before you return from the exams or to complain. You know,
Oh, dog.
most
No,
often we don't complain, but we only complain after the exams.
Yes, sir.
no,
For
dog,
now,
but the quantum, so we are managing small, small.
okay, but if we could get sample questions and so
Sample
that
question. I think you quickly last year's question. Have you seen their question?
no,
No,
please,
please. You've not seen their question.
no, please, though.
Okay, I'll try and get you one.
Okay,
I'll try and get you a copy through your rep
okay, though.
and
And
sample as well as sample questions that you may want to try your hands on.
yeah, some also areas that probably we can study if you can give us.
Then I think we have to meet again.
Okay.
We have to meet again for that because I've not submitted a question. I've not yet constructed the items. I've done that for the quiz, but not the question, not the end of semester. So I'm unable to provide you with any form of guideline. But the questions cover everything. We've done how many? We've done nine. We've done nine topics, nine major topics, and so far with the quiz it covers everything up to what we are going to discuss today. Bits and pieces from various sections of the topics, and they are not difficult. They are very straightforward, and I know that my student should be able, if you give in the required time and attention, you should be able to respond to the questions. They are not difficult, and I'm trusting that all of you pass, not just pass, you pass and pass very well.
Amen.
All right, so I think we'll have to meet again. As I said, today's supposed to be our last meeting, but we cannot discuss preparation towards the main exams. For the quiz, maybe I'll send you sample or some questions to try your hands on through your rep. But for the end of semester, I think we have to meet as a class, then we discuss. So we find time to do that. All right, today is going to be very short. We are still in the holiday mood. So we'll be treating just a topic. The other one, I'll let you have. It's going to be outside. That will not going to be part of the exams. So I'll give the material to read on your own for your knowledge. Okay. So one more topic. That will be for your knowledge, but not necessarily for the upcoming. So in a way, I've given you area. At least one topic has been excluded. So that is good enough, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. So let me share my screen with you so we do justice. It's going to be very brief, so do not run away from me. Some will log in, and their gadget will be doing the lesson. They'll be far away from their gadget. So I promise that it's going to be very brief. We're going to touch on a select areas. The material will be given to you. Then you read. Please, can you see my screen from your end?
Yes, dog.
Okay. So we over the period we've been discussing the marketing mix element, starting from product. We discuss price. Today we are going to discuss the place, also known as the distribution function, our strategies. That's going to be the focus. So we'll look at introduction. We'll look at intermediaries and their functions, the types of intermediaries, franchising, channel alternatives, channel selection. Then we look at factors affecting channel selection. How do we get the product to the customer or to where customers are supposed to have access to? How do we do that? What factors will help us in selecting the most appropriate channel to get our goods to the to our customers. Then channel patterns, then physical distribution. So this is what I'm going to use. In the next 1 hour or so, our attention is going to focus on this. So please do not run away. Stay tuned.
Okay, no.
As I mentioned earlier, we delved much into the products. We've been able to identify consumers' needs, okay, through market intelligence, through market research. We've been able to go through the product life cycle. We'll be able to design something to satisfy the consumer's needs. Price tag has been placed on that. We've been able to promote our brand. Now, where do consumers get the product? Where can they access the product? We need to distribute the product to the appropriate places where consumers can have access to. This is what we are referring to as the place function, or the aspect of the mix, which without that, we can't achieve our marketing objectives. It is called the place function or the distribution strategy. It is regarded as the process of making goods and services available. Not just being available, they should be available in their right quantities and location to those who want to buy this particular product or goods. So the process of making goods. So the function of marketing, or the type of strategy that involves we ensuring that the right quantity, first of all, the right product in their right quantities arrive at their right places so that consumers who want to buy can have access to them. This is what we are referring to as the place function or the distribution strategy. In the process of getting the product to the consumer, it may just be consumers we moving the product to where the consumer is. That's a single step, or the product going through several stages until it gets to the final consumer. You may want to sell our product to somebody, an agent, a distributor, a wholesaler. Thereafter, the product gets to the consumer, or we selling directly to the consumer. So there are several issues that we'll be discussing. Before product gets to the consumer, there are several things, decision criteria that the producer or the marketer have to consider, because the type of distribution strategy you adopt may affect so many things, including the quality of the product, including access to the product, and many other things. Because of this, producers are to be mindful and pay much attention to the place function or the distribution strategy. We can best serve our customers when we place much emphasis on this particular strategy. Failure to manage this strategy very well, you may have a good product with a good price, well marketed through the appropriate promotional strategy, but consumers may not or will not have access to the product if we fail to ensure that the right quantity of the right product gets to the right place at the right time. That brings an importance to this particular strategy or element of the P. So if we move to channels of distribution, first of all, what is a channel of distribution and what are the various types that we have or kinds that are available? Channel of distribution refers to as a set of intermediaries or interdependent organizations that help make a good or service available for use or for consumption by the consumer or the business user. So here, the attention is not only on consumer goods, but also on industrial or B2B products. So all the interdependent institutions, firms that come together to help the organization to ensure that our goods get to where they are supposed to be is what we are referring to as the channel of distribution. Registered firms may contact the organization that I am so and so firm or institution or corporation. I want to partner your organization so as to ensure that your consumers get access to your product. So this is what we are referring to as the independent organization. They are independent from your organization in the sense that they are not part or they are not entities registered under your firm, but rather they are independent firms. Okay, they may be individuals, organizations who are interested in ensuring that your goods get to where they are supposed to be, and in their right quantities and at the right time. So we move further, or we discuss further on these intermediaries. They are called intermediary because they serve as a liaison between the producer and the consumer. So they serve as an intermediary. Marketing intermediaries link producers to other middlemen or to ultimate users of the product. So when we mention marketing intermediaries, they are these independent institutions, firms, organizations that serve as a link or a liaison between the producer and other distributors or middlemen, as well as maybe the final user of the product. It's not always possible or advisable for producers to distribute their own product, especially with large corporations. We always have to welcome intermediaries, and these intermediaries helps us in several ways. Okay, for example, they help in packaging, they also help in pricing, they help in so many ways. So they sometimes provide credit facilities, they help in advertising, and many more. So we embrace their services, help them to function well. So as these intermediaries succeed, the organization will eventually succeed. Why must we embrace this intermediary? We discuss some of them, but let's look at the specific benefits that when organizations embrace their these services or the service of intermediaries, we are likely to enjoy. First of all, the use of intermediary helps in reducing the number of marketplace contacts and transactions. Absence of intermediaries will mean that we have to move from market to market. We have to meet from household to household trying to get our products to them. So these intermediaries come in to reduce this kind of burden of having marketplace contact and transaction with all our users. Lower storage costs. As soon as we produce, and these wholesalers, retailers, and these middlemen and agents come take delivery of the product. So storage cost is not with us any longer. They take the risk of storage and many more. Sorting, which involve developing a package which provide assortment of benefit to the consumer. Breaking bulk. Intermediaries come in to help us break bulk. You may want to produce large quantities. They help us in breaking the bulk in terms of maybe it's in the form of grades, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, in the form of sizes. Breaking into smaller or manageable units so that consumers can afford. Then the next point, supply of needed information. Supply of needed information. Intermediary serving as a liaison helps to transmit or translate information from the producer to the consumer, as well as from the consumer to the producer. So that is about what intermediaries are and their benefits. Let's now look at the types of intermediaries that are available. There are several types of intermediaries. And these are these are we have wholesalers. We have wholesalers, we have agents and brokers, we have agents and brokers, we have agents and brokers. Just a minute, I'll be with you. Hello, hello. Please,
Yes.
can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes.
Hello, Doc.
Very
Yes.
good. Sorry, I have to attend to some few other issue at the office. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Doc.
So we are now looking at the types of intermediaries, the various types of intermediaries available. We have, before we move, we look at the specific types. Let's look at the difference between being an agent and a broker. An agent and a broker. Agent work permanently on behalf of their seller or buyer. When we say agent, they work permanently on behalf of either the seller or the buyer. What about brokers? Brokers only work temporarily. Let me relocate so we continue. There's a little noise. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Bye.
Sorry for the interruptions. So we're looking at the difference between agents and brokers. The difference lies on it, whether they are with the organization or permanently, or they have other business to do. So brokers, we learned that the agents work permanently on behalf of either the seller or the firm itself. What about brokers? Well, for them, they work temporarily on behalf of a business and unusually transact between many different sellers and buyers. Okay, they may want to. A broker may choose to have or do business with more than one organization, depending on where he or she fits well and see where the revenue will come best from. But agent, when you sign with an agent, that means you are going to work with that particular firm for such a period agreed between the two parties. So as a business owner, you may want to go in for the services of agents, or you may want to go in for the services of the of brokers. Like, what are retailers, or who is a retailer, or what is retailing? Retailers buy bulk from a wholesaler. We'll then look at who a wholesaler is. Retailers, when they buy from wholesalers, they then sell to the final consumer. So retailers have direct contact with the consumer, unlike wholesalers. Wholesalers, they buy from maybe the producer or the agent, then they break bulk further to the retailer. Then the retailer will thereafter sell to the final consumer. So types of retailing or retailers. We have the supermarkets, the hypermarkets. They sell directly to final consumers, so they are sell to be but big in nature or big in scope or size. We have the supermarkets, which is a bit smaller in scope and size as compared with the hypermarket. Then departmental stores, you have discount stores, cooperative retail stores, mail order companies, and franchises or franchises. They are all types of retailers. We can best identify, or the simplest criteria in identifying a retailer is the fact that they sell or they transact direct business with the final business consumer or the final um, consumer. Okay, so that's the only criteria to be able to say that yes, this is a retailer and that is not a retailer. You can read further on all of this, the difference between hypermarket and supermarket, the difference between departmental store and supermarket. Okay, then independent retailers and multiple chains. So they are referred to as retail organizations with fewer than 10 branches. Okay, fewer than 10 branches. When we are done, we'll try to see if we're able to identify some of this in our community or the cities where we are. Multiple chain stores are organized by joint stock companies with high degree of control being exercised by professional managers. They have more than 10 branches. The multiple chains, they have more than 10 branches, but the independent retailers, they have fewer than 10 branches. So the distinction between these two is the fact that there are number of branches. If your branch, okay, has you have more than 10 branches, then it means you qualify to be a multiple chain retailer instead of the independent retailer. But if it is less than the 10, then you are classified not as a multiple chain, but as an independent retailer. Franchise. Franchise. Franchise is where um, an organization allow another firm to transact business using its brand name, its logo, its mode of operation, and other things in a defined location or in an agreed location. That's about what franchising. It is a permission to market a product in a specified area. Okay, the firm which sells a franchise is referred to as a franchisor. Example, there are several examples in Ghana. These four retailers, okay, four retailers, Guel Ghana Limited, and the many Guel filling stations that are available. They operate the franchise agreement, the Shell filling station, and many more. There are several food vendors who are operating under franchise business. So the explanation here is that the organization, okay, the main firm will allow another entity, okay, registered under its name to sell or to market its products, to produce market under a license from the main organization. So apart from the fuel marketing companies, what other franchise business do you see in Ghana? There are more of them. Let me find out from you. What other franchise business do you see in Ghana based on the meaning we've given? Do you also know more other franchise organizations? Yeah, back to the class. My participants. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir. I do not. I can't see anyone particular here, but I'm reflecting on it. Franchise.
Franchise businesses in Ghana. I've given you one.
Dog.
Yes.
I'm not sure, but I think Chicken Man is also doing it.
Chicken Man or
Yeah,
Pizza Man,
yeah,
Chicken Man.
yeah. Pizza Man,
So,
Chicken Man.
meaning all the branches we see in various cities and town locations, they are not necessary for the
Owner.
the owner, but people
Yeah.
have registered their companies and they are operating under the license of the core owner. It is possible. It is very much possible. What else?
And KFC.
KFC is one. KFC is one. KFC is from, I think it's from US, right? Or UK. It is, I think, US.
Yeah, yeah.
So the various KFC shops we see in our communities is not the original owner who owns them. Individuals and business people in Ghana own these KFC shops or outlets, but they are managing using the brand name, using their colors, everything. Okay, and the the owners earn what royalties and other benefits. So KFC US or Ghana Limited, they only periodically go around the various franchise shops to inspect and ensure that they are doing what they are expected to do. In other words, whatever that needed to be produced, consumed by the final consumer, the final consumer might not necessarily have to go to the mother company to buy. Just after a few walk away, you have access to whatever product that is being sold at the main corporation or at the main branch. So that's about what franchise. It helps producers, consumers have access to products, not necessarily driving or walking to where the mother firm is. So it's a form of making the product available to where they are supposed to be. Therefore, it falls under the place strategy. Advantages of the franchise business or the franchise system. Advantage to the franchisee. The franchisee in this case is the one who has obtained license agreement from the owner, and the owner here becomes the franchisor. Just as we have employer and employee, in similar way we have the franchisee and the franchisor. So to the franchisee, what possible advantages will the franchisee obtain with the use of the franchise agreement? Trace under a well-known name. Assuming you have your money, you want to establish a filling station. It will be very difficult to brand yours and get a market right from the beginning. But we are able to obtain franchise agreements from, let's say, Shell or Total, or better still, Goil Ghana Limited. Knowing very well that Goil has a good product and their products are very well fuel efficient and all of that. When I see when I see their pictures and all of that, I know that it's coming from the mother company, and there's that assurance that when I buy from them, I am assured of what quality product. So I wouldn't have any difficulty knowing that the product, but assuming that you have to register your own brand, market it, how do you even convince? It's going to take some time before consumers agree, yes, your product is also of quality. So when you go by the franchise agreement, you trade under a well-known name. Then the second advantage is that it has a local monopoly. As part of the agreement between a franchisee and a franchisor, there's an agreement with respect to the location. When a franchisor gives you the license to operate, as part of the agreement, they agree that they are not going to give another license or a license to another person to operate that business within a confined area. For example, if it's about UCC and its environs. So far as we now have a Goil Ghana Limited operating on campus, they are not going to give another entity similar right or the same right to operate the same thing. No, because of this, when you operate when you're able to secure a license agreement with a franchise agreement, you enjoy monopoly within the local area that has been assigned to you to operate business, that particular business with. The next point, works for him or her and receive most of the profit. Yes, the franchisee receive all the profit. They only pay royalties to the franchisor, but all the profit goes back to or is being enjoyed by the franchisee. They are given experts. They are given the required training. They are given the right equipment and the required form of assistance that they need to operate. They are given. Periodically, the franchisor goes around to check, provide advice, training, and few other issues that they would need to ensure they operate very well. The franchisee obtain all these kind of benefits. Then, what about the franchisor? We can brainstorm and agree on 101 or many advantages that the franchisor can will benefit after agreeing to lease out part of its license to other entities. First one, the franchise does not risk own capital. Yes, your capital is intact. Whatever that is being is being done in other locations other than your mother shop, they are using their own funds, so you don't risk any fund. If not because of franchise agreement, you have to go around establishing branches, okay, branches in other locations. You have to use your own capital. You risk, assuming it doesn't work out, you are going to lose your capital. But in this case, such a risk has been transferred to the franchisee. And many more, so we can brainstorm and agree on many, many more. Let's continue. Channel alternatives. Channel alternatives that are available that business entities and marketers can choose from. We are told that several types of distribution channels are available to select from. And this usually depends upon the product that is being marketed and a type of market that you want to choose. So this is just one of the factors that we consider in making choices as to the various channel alternatives that we mean to pick from. So in selecting a particular channel, we need to plan very well. And we have to go through these steps, these 5 steps, in order to choose right. First of all, you need to identify your objectives. What is the channel objective? Okay, you need to identify the objective. Then what are the constraints? If you want to select a particular channel, what are the possible constraints that you are likely to be confronted with? This should be analyzed. Then you list and study the various alternatives available. What are the alternatives that are available for consideration? You need to identify and get to know their pros and cons. That takes us through the evaluation. Okay, evaluate based on the pros and cons of each of the available strategies, or available alternatives. Then you finally decide on the channel plan. At any point in time you want to ask a question for clarity or to contribute, just feel free, unmute yourself and make your point known. Still on channel selection. There's an choosing between distribution channels, right? It is important to evaluate all of them, but this evaluation, besides what we've discussed earlier, it must be done in accordance with 3 important criteria. Number 1, economic performance, control, and adaptability. Okay, when we select a particular channel, are we able to adapt as and when needed? Or those channels that we are about selecting, it will limit us. We will not be able to adapt. We have the tools and equipment to be able to adapt and make changes as needed. We have control over that channel that we want to select. As a producer, as marketers, when we select a particular channel to get our product to our consumers where they are, we have control. Okay, can we have a say as to how the goods are supposed to be handled, as to how whether it's going to affect the quality of the product before it gets to the consumer, or we've sold out our control? These are things that we need to consider before we make choices. Then economic importance. Okay, are we going to benefit? We are in business, and the kind of channel that we select, are we going to have some financial implication and benefit, economic benefit to us? So these important considerations must be highly factored into our decision criteria. And the various types that are available, the channel selections that are available, let's discuss them. Let's have a look at them. We have intensive distribution. You may want to go for intensive distribution. You may want to go for selective distribution or the exclusive distribution. Let's pick them one after the other and discuss. Intensive distribution. With intensive distribution, the producer may want to go for all available means to ensure that the goods gets to where they are supposed to be in their right quantities and at the right time. So they do not discriminate, they do not isolate others, but whatever channel that are available, which can best serve the organization to ensure that their goods get to where they are supposed to be without affecting the quality and the quantity, we go for them. It involves securing as many outlets as possible so that access to the market and availability for consumers is maximized. So wherever our consumers are, whatever the quantity that they need, they should be able to get them. Okay, this is about intensive distribution. Once again, the nature of the product and many factors will have to be considered before we make such a decision. Down the next one, selective distribution. Selective distribution. Making or intended choosing only few retailers or wholesalers to market our product. We don't go for anything at all, but we are being selective in deciding that this should be part, this other one should not be part. These wholesalers and retailers cannot market our product based on their expertise. We don't think they have what it takes to distribute our brand, okay, to distribute our product, so they should be excluded. So we are very particular about the kind of retailers and wholesalers to bring on board to distribute our product for us. And as a producer, as a marketer, we may have reasons for doing that. Maybe because of the nature of the product, maybe because of the control that we want to have in the distribution of the product, okay? Or maybe because of the economic importance that we attach to the kind of people, to the nature of the distribution that when we want to adopt, that may fit into we using selective distribution. Now, exclusive. There are instances where a producer may want to just exclude all others and just go in for one or two, okay, or just an individual or an institution to distribute their product. They may have many reasons for making such a move. We are told that producers in certain instances may grant exclusive right to retailers to sell their product in a particular area. Okay, so far as this product is concerned, this distributor has been given the exclusive right, and no other or others can have such a right to distribute, okay, to ensure that this product gets where they are supposed to be. Factors apart from the three important decision criteria, there are many factors. Okay. Yes.
Please, so how different is the selective from the what do we call exclusive distribution? I'm getting confused.
Come again. How different is which one?
The selective from the exclusive.
Oh, okay. Selective, we may be more than one. That is more than one. Okay. Among the various distributors that are available, you make choices as to this can do, this cannot, this can do, this cannot. We have more than one. But with the exclusive, okay, with the exclusive, the producer may just want to go for one, okay, that maybe you think that this firm or this individual would be the only person, or maybe the nature, okay, the nature of the product. Maybe it is very fragile. It demands a lot of, let's say, it demands that there must be training, there must be several things that need to be considered before they can, consumers can utilize. And therefore, we cannot afford to allow other firms to come in to distribute the brand for us. So we have given the right to maybe a very big company, okay, who have what it takes. They have the expertise, okay, and we can easily rely on them. We can even call on them. We can even call them to order when they are not doing as expected. So that's the difference between the selective distribution and the exclusive distribution. Are you okay at this point?
Yes, please.
All right. So the other factors that we want to consider: image of the products. Okay, the image of the products. Maybe the image, we don't want to dilute the image of the product. Therefore, because when you have the intensive distribution, it will be very difficult to track and manage how your product is faring, how the intermediaries are managing and taking care of your brand. It's a bit difficult. But selective and exclusive, sometimes to a large extent, especially with the exclusive, we are able to track and manage the brand, okay, and the brand is not likely to be to be affected or negatively. The second point: the size, the nature, and the quality of the sales force of the channel members, okay, the various intermediaries. What is the quality of their channel members or the employees? Okay, do they have the expertise? That's the quality. Do they have the numbers, the size? How many outlets do they have? UCC, whenever we want to sell or sell our forms, we usually go for banks that have many branches all over the country, wherever they are, wherever our potential applicants or students are, they can easily have access to the forms. So that is about the size. That is about the size. Recently, when government wanted to disburse the free stress policy by giving out first level 100 or first year's university students back their money, they went in for a bank that has branches across the various campuses. Okay, so it's about the size, the nature, and the quality of the sales force sometimes feed into the selection of a particular channel. The ability and expertise to provide after sales service. Yes. Okay. After sales service. Sometimes the nature of the product demands that we provide after sales service. And so this should fit into the selection of the channel. One may want to go for the exclusive when maybe the sale of heavy duty gadgets, for example, the sale and installation of heavy electrical gadgets like transformers. Okay, transformers cannot be done. We are producing transformers and we are selling to the world. We may want to have an exclusive distributor, okay, who buys from us and sell to consumers, because transformers are not going to be bought by final consumers, but like by many consumers. Only selected consumers can afford to buy and use. Therefore, we're going for an exclusive partner, or a partner with an agent or a distributor, because of the after sales service, the installation, the servicing, and a few other things. You may want to go in for that. So ability, okay, and the available experts, okay, in this with the intermediaries who are able to offer after-sales service will, to a large extent, help us in deciding which of the channels to go for. The financial standing, okay, ability, the credit worthiness, okay, the liquidity of the firm, their assets and money, their financial position, okay, the financial position of the intermediaries also feed into the selection of the firm, of the channel. The need for intermediaries to carry specialist equipment, such as that for car servicing, yes, specialist equipment. So that also feed into the selection. We may also want to consider the strategy for competitors. Manufacturers can use distribution techniques which compete with those of other organizations in the same market, okay? So you may want to also consider what is being under, what is taking place at your competitors' end, okay? You may want to benchmark the activities of your competitors. Now, the location of the channel members is also a factor. Where they are located can also influence the channel distribution. Let's now move to channel patterns. Channel pattern. We'll be looking at vertical marketing systems. Okay, then we go deep into what the vertical marketing system is and the types under it. Vertical marketing system as a pattern is where integration takes place in the marketing channel so that a single channel member manage all channel activities. A single channel member manage all channel activities. So further, we say that it involves owning all distribution activities from the producer to the buyer. So we say vertical because from the producer at the very top through to the final consumer at the very bottom, vertical, from top to down. A single channel member manage all the channel activities from the top to the down, a single channel member. So we have a system in place where from the producer, the distributor, the wholesaler, the retailer, we have a system in place that manages all these activities. So the various types under the vertical marketing system. We have the corporate vertical marketing system. The corporate, where the various channel activities along the vertical chain is combined. Okay, combine all channel stages under one ownership. They streamline the process by bringing all of the elements of the distribution channel from manufacturing to the store under the ownership of a single business. A corporate entity comes in to manage all such things. Then another form of management is what we are referring is called administered vertical marketing system. What is this? With this, the various channel members, okay, apart from the distributor, apart from the company, the various channel members along the distribution line, they set up an office, okay, they set up an administrative office to manage the various activities along the line. So they don't fall under any corporation. They don't form under any contractual agreement. Rather, they come together to set up an administrative system, an administrative office that manages, take care of their activities from the top through to the point where the final consumer gets the product. An independent channel member or independent channel members setting up an administrative system to coordinate the functioning of the channel. So members of the distribution channel who yield enough power generally through their share size does not control the activities of other members of the channel distribution. So what we are trying to say is that when the various channel members come together to establish an administrative system to control or to manage their activities for them, when care is not taken, the bigger channel members within the system may influence the activities of the administrative office, but systems are put in place to ensure that this will not happen. Then the next one, that's the contractual vertical marketing system. Here, the agreement that end them to form the administrative system, they are formalized, and they are formalized through a contractual relationship. They don't just form an office to administer the affairs of the activities along the chain. They go beyond that to formalize the agreement. So there is a formal agreement between all the members along the distribution channel, or that forms part of the distribution channel until the goods get to the final consumer. They form, or they have a formal agreement, a contractual agreement, that these are our agreements. All of us are supposed to go by such an agreement. Failure to go by such agreement, whatever penalty, whatever sanction that one will be sanctioned with, will be spelled out as part of the agreement. However, despite the agreement, each member of the channel distribution, they still hold their identity intact. They don't form a new company, okay? They do not form a new one. They do not form a new entity. Rather, they stand on their own. Just that they have agreed. They have agreed that this will be our terms and conditions. Having agreed to be part of the member or of the team, this is our agreement, and each member of the team is supposed to be guided by the agreed terms. Any question before we continue from this point? Any question? Otherwise, we pick the last subsection or subtopic, which is on physical distribution. Physical distribution management. How do we get the goods to where they are supposed to be? We need to transport these goods to where they are supposed to be. How do we manage this transportation system? Sometimes, because of the transporting the goods, some of them need cooling, okay? Some of them need heating. Some of them need vans or transport system that can keep the product in the condition in which they are before they get to their final destination. We need to manage that. This is what we are referring to as the physical distribution. It is the transporting and storing of goods to match target customers' need with a firm's marketing mix, both within individual firms and along the channel of distribution. Okay, along the channel of distribution. So we bought the raw materials. The raw materials go to the plant or where the production is going to take place. Okay. Then we were able to transform from one work in progress to another work in progress until the final good is produced. This final product must get to where they are supposed to be. As we said, or we agreed on, they must get to their destinations in the right quantity, right quality, at the right time. Okay. How do we manage this? This is what we are referring to. It describes the role of managers in developing, administering, and operating systems. Okay. We need to develop and administer as well as operate a system that will control the movement of all raw materials and finished goods. Raw materials from their point of production to the firm, then we manage and transform the raw material into finished products. Trading of cost against service. So we need to balance, okay? The physical electricity system provides a balancing mechanism between the need for customer service and the need to minimize costs. Yes, because failure to minimize costs, eventually these costs will be transferred to the final consumer. And because first of all, we need to provide a customer with the right service. As we said, the goods must get to where they are at the right time, the right quantity, and the right quality. Okay, this quality needed not to be affected. Plus many other more services that we may want to render while the good gets to where they are supposed to be. Whilst doing this, we also have to ensure that we minimize what cost. So we need to trade service against what? We need to trade cost against service, try to balance all of this. Then the transport, we also have to manage the transport as we spoke about. Transport is a critical component in physical distribution. This must be well managed, okay? By transport, there are several means by which the goods can get to where they are supposed to be. Types of transport, I mean. Which one must we select? All of them are means by which the goods can get to where they are. But we need to select the most appropriate one. In selecting that, the most appropriate one will be dependent on other factors. Factors such as the speed at which the good must get to where they are. Okay? If they are perishable commodity, which of these will be the most appropriate? If they are bulky commodity, which of these must be the most appropriate? If they are liquid in nature, which of them must be the most appropriate? These are things that we need to factor before we make choices as to which one we should go for. For example, air, we select air when we want to put speed, okay, against cost. Okay, air is all about speed. Pipeline is more of what? When they are of liquid in nature, okay, then we have to use a pipeline. C, bulky items, not necessarily speed. So we go for the nature of the product, the bulky item, as against what? Speed, and many more. Okay. So the factors in choosing the appropriate transport: cost, time, accessibility, reliability, traceability, and capability. I think all these are familiar terms that we have to that we are aware of. Okay, so we pause here for questions. contributions. We've used an hour. We've gotten extended weekend. And people have started enjoying. So questions, Anita Siedu, Nana Se, Kwabena Siedu, Elizabeth Tete, Abbas Aminu, Halidu Aminu, Felician Cancer, and many more. Let me hear from you. Otherwise, there are two things in here. Either I've succeeded in confusing you, and therefore you don't know what kind of question to ask to clear the confusion, or you've gotten a good understanding based on the explanation we've given. And because of that, you don't have anything to ask. Which of these are we going for? The first or the second? Yabua, Yabua, are you there? Mr. Yabua, William Yabua.
Yes, sir, I'm here. Yeah,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Eko ye there.
Yo.
Abbas. Hello, Abbas.
Yes, sir.
Is everything okay?
Yes, please. Everything is okay, sir.
So are you getting an A for me? You owe me A. You have to get an A for me.
Yes, definitely, inshallah.
Otherwise, wherever you are, I will chase you for my A. So questions, comment, contributions. Madam Puma, where are you?
No, please, I'm here.
Our honorable course rep. All right, so I'll share by close of tomorrow. I'll share possible OBJ questions with you to try your hands on. Okay, I'm not saying, please do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that these are the questions to be expecting. Okay, they are just sample questions to help you revise. So when you go, you don't see the questions say, Wadada. No,